Hi, welcome back to the channel. Michelle, and today I want to share with you how I find joy in the holiday season. The holiday season can definitely be a stressful, jam-packed, lots of events time of year, and it can be difficult to maneuver through that. So I wanted to share first the two biggest things I do to de-stress my Christmas or holiday season, and then I want to focus on the things I do that bring me joy. I think it's very easy to talk about all the things you don't like about the season, but I think it's really important to talk about the things you really do like about the season. Now, as you can see here, I'm by my Christmas tree, and you may hear heavy breathing. That is my dog sleeping right there under the tree. That's his favorite spot to sleep. He's elderly, so he breathes really heavily when sleeping, so just if you hear some weird background noise, that's what it is. But I wanted to start by talking about the things I do to make my holiday season less stressful and more enjoyable. So the first thing I do is I don't overschedule or overcommit myself or my family. Now, there are a plethora of things to do during the holiday season. There's lots of activities, there's seeing Santa, there's baking and crafting and lots of things. And we're just not at a stage where we want to do lots of things. My almost 3-year-old is difficult in outings, and he has a tendency to lose it a lot. And right now it's not really enjoyable doing a lot of family outings, and that's completely fine. I'm sure that'll change as time goes on. But it's also not worth, constantly doing activities. For example, my kids don't enjoy going to see Santa. They love Santa, they love writing letters, they love learning about Santa and reading about Santa and watching movies about Santa. But I've come to the point where they don't actually like seeing him in person. I've taken both my younger girls when they were younger, and they both cried, and it wasn't something they enjoyed. It's something that I thought everybody kind of does. Everybody goes and sees Santa, but coming to realize that my kids didn't actually enjoy that, so we just stopped doing it. So much activities that are out there that you don't have to do them all. Overscheduling or overcommitting or saying you'll help with this or that. It's okay to say no during the holiday season. Your kids aren't missing out because they're not going to the holiday parade. It's okay. So the number 2 thing I do that makes my holiday season less stressful is I don't overdo presents. Now, I think this is unique to every family. Some families do less, some do more, some do this something you need, something to read type thing. We keep it simple. We get our kids 3 gifts, and then they get 1 gift from Santa. So each of them get 4 gifts. So I have a almost 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an almost 3-year-old. And that has worked really well. It helps me be intentional about the things I buy. Having a limited list to work from, my kids create Amazon wish list with my help, and we kind of narrow down the things they want. And of course, they ask Santa for something. But having a set plan of what they want, and especially going into the beginning of the holiday season, so Thanksgiving and that, knowing what they want, what I can prioritize, I think is important, and it helps me figure out what to buy them, and I don't have to stress about things like sales. And I want to make a point that I can buy presents ahead of time, which is nice, but it's also a privilege. I think a lot of people talk about how they shop this and this sale and that sale. Having the ability to spend extra money on Christmas whenever you want is a privilege. For example, growing up, my mother tended to not buy her Christmas presents till the week of Christmas, and that's just frankly because that's when she had the money to do it. So I know being able to buy Christmas presents ahead of time, and I'm not talking like 6 months ahead of time, I'm not that crazy, but end of October, early November, starting to buy gifts, keeping an eye of things like sales, but I don't go crazy with sales. It doesn't have to be a Black Friday deal. It doesn't have to be Cyber Monday. It doesn't have to be ridiculously priced. I'm not going to waste my time constantly stalking sales and things like that. So I have alerts on, items that I'm interested in getting on my kids, and I'll be alerted if it goes on sale, and that's fine. But I'm a lot less stressed because I don't have to constantly shop around. I do a lot of online shopping. There are some local stores that I shop at that you can only get certain things there, but it really eliminates the stress and the holiday shopping and all that. And I've talked about in a previous video, I'll link up above, about holiday gift guide. For adults, we keep it simple. We do charitable donations in their name. And that really takes off the stress of having to find the perfect present for everybody. Because ultimately, this holiday season isn't about presents and gifts. Are they nice to receive and gift? Yes. But it's not the point of this season. Now, Kennedy will get into that when I talk about what brings me joy, but not overdoing presents. And on top of that, we have a budget. We set a budget every single year. I'm one of those people that has an Excel spreadsheet, and I track what we spend because, one, we have to. We are a single income family, so I need to know what we're spending and when and what we can afford to spend. But for example, for my budget for my kids, for my 3-year-old, it's $75. For my 6-year-old, it's $125, and then for my 9, almost 10-year-old, it is $150. That being said, I'm obviously not buying things like iPads or Nintendo Switches for my kids. One, because they don't need them, especially with their ages. That is a very special gift to receive. And two, having that budget, having a list, and having a time frame really ease up the stress. I know this is what I can buy. When I'm done shopping, I'm done. I don't care if I see something, in the checkout that's really cute or something goes on sale. When I'm done, I'm done. I just call it that. If the kids see something, I will always just say, oh, let's add it to your Amazon wish list. I'm sure someone else will be able to get it, or for your birthday, or for next Christmas, things like that. So now I want to talk about the things that bring me joy this holiday season, because I think that's one of the greatest part about the holiday season. So the first thing that brings me great joy is decorating for Christmas. Now this is unique to each person. Some people hate decorating. Some people really enjoy it. I am a person that really enjoys it. You can't see most of my house right now, but it looks like Christmas exploded in my house, and I absolutely love it. One of my favorite things to do is decorate our tree, and we do it as a family. We put on Christmas music. It's the first thing we do the day after Thanksgiving, actually. We get out all the bins. I'm pretty minimalist when it comes to decorations or decor or things like that, but when it comes to Christmas, I'm not. I have 5 giant Rubbermaid tubs of just Christmas decorations because I absolutely love it. And one of the reasons is, growing up, my mother decorated the house crazily just like I do now, and growing up, it really felt like a magical place to live. The entire season of December, early January felt magical to me as a child. So I really want to recreate that for my children, but it also helps me feel connected. If you didn't know, my mother passed away a year ago, so this is definitely a way for me to stay connected with that feeling and with my mother as well. And that being said, most of my decorations are not things from Target or Pottery Barn or anything like that. Most of our decorations are a lot of handmade things or things handed down from the family. Now, as you can see on my big tree here, there's a ton of Hallmark ornaments on here. My mother-in-law has the tradition every year of giving everybody ornaments, like 3 or 4 each. So we have Star Wars up there, we have Star Trek, Barbie, all that up there. So those things were obviously bought, but we also have the most important ornaments on there, which are like the handmade ones or the ones I did for the kids' first Christmas. I did special handprints and footprints and turned them into ornaments. A lot of the decorations I have were my great-grandmother's. So it's just, I could pick up any item, any Christmas decor item, and tell you exactly where it came from and why it's meaningful to me. And I think that's the point. The point isn't to make it look Pinterest perfect or make it look like, a catalog in Pottery Barn. The point is it meaningful to you? And these things really, really are. And my kids really enjoy decorating with me. My husband, not so much. But my kids really enjoy it. And here's the thing. Do they put things out perfectly or the way I would do it? No, but that's not the point. The point is to enjoy this time and welcoming the season of Christmas for us and just being with each other. And that is one of the reasons I love decorating so much. That being said, I do decorate in other places too. So for example, our church does, and I'll put up some pictures here. Our church does a big Christmas tree that I help decorate. It's one of those that takes like 2 ladders to do, and I just love it. Just putting Christmas music on and just being creative and feeling the magic of the season really come to you. We also did one in the back of the church. My kids and I decorated kind of like a Sunday school one, and it was just so much fun. I love it. But I know that's unique to each person, and not everyone gets that joy from decorating, but I definitely do. Second thing that brings me joy is Christmas lights. something about, winter is darker and more gloomy. Something about bright, shiny Christmas lights just brings me so much joy. That being said, we do try to do some type of light display every year. It's one of the few activities we do during Christmas time. So in the past, we've gone to a zoo to see the Christmas lights display. The Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago has an awesome Christmas trees around the world display that we've gone to for many years. This year, we're just doing our local Christmas lights walk. They have a carriage ride, and we're going to be doing that. And I think that will be a lot of fun. But again, something magical about the light in the darkness that I just really enjoy. Next thing is I get joy, and my family gets joy from celebrating both Santa and the religious holiday that is Christmas. So we celebrate Advent, and I have a video about how we do that. I'll link up above. But I think a lot of families do, one or the other, either you're a Santa house or a Jesus house, and I think there's room for both, and I think there's magic and understanding that comes from both. So Santa, my kids enjoy writing letters, we read books, we watch movies about Santa. Next year for homeschool, we plan on doing a complete Santa unit, so that'll be a lot of fun. But I think anytime you can invite magic and wonder into your world is a beautiful thing. And that's what Santa is. He's a symbol of love and giving and thinking of others. And I think that's really important during this holiday season, where it can be easy to get caught up in the busyness of life or the price tags or the presents. And that's not necessarily what the holiday season is. Just like we celebrate Advent and the birth of Jesus in our house, it's very much welcoming something into this world. I think anyone who's had a new child knows what it's like when a new child is brought into this world. The joy and happiness that comes with that, the hopes for the future, and that's what we celebrate with the birth of Jesus on Christmas. So both of those play very well off each other, and it's not either or. At least in our household, it's a celebration of both, because both are symbols of love and thinking of others, and the joy and hope to come in the future. So, one of the things I really enjoy for our religious aspect of Christmas is we have a candlelight Christmas Eve service at our church, and everybody gets a candle, even my 3-year-old. We all sing Silent Night, and we take the church lights down so everything's off. It's completely pitch black, and all you can see is the candles. And yes, do I kind of fear that one of my kids are going to drop their candle and set the church on fire? Yeah, that fear every single year. But besides that fear, it's also a very magical moment to be a part of, to see as a community, you're together singing, and it's one of those things that brings me true joy during the holiday season. So, another thing that brings me joy during the holiday season is we do a lot of shopping for different families. We always do, Toys for Tots and things like that. But we also do Lutheran social services. If you're new here, I'm a Lutheran ELCA denomination. My husband's actually a pastor. So we enjoy, with the Sunday school kids, doing Lutheran social service present buying. So we get a list of kids that we sponsor, and we have a wish list from those kids, and we go out with the Sunday school kids, and we purchase things that are on that list, or at least close to that we can do. And I think this is so important because, like I said, a lot of people get wrapped up in presents and prices and things, and especially working with the Sunday school kids, having them realize that things actually cost a lot of money. For example, one of the kids was looking at like a Nike sweatshirt in one of the stores, and they're like, oh my God, this is $50. I'm like, yes, that was $50. And obviously that would not work within our budget we had. And he's like, wow, I didn't realize that was so expensive. And then one of the other kids was wondering why things like shoes and snow pants were on the list. Those didn't seem like very fun gifts. And we had the conversation about how it's often overlooked that sometimes as a parent or a caregiver, you have to make the difficult decision of whether or not to buy a pair of shoes or to buy a toy at Christmas because you don't have the financial ability to do both. And that's not shameful or wrong, but I think it's something we need to talk about. I've seen so many what I got my kids for Christmas videos, and that's great, but there's no shame in having to make that difficult choice of sometimes you have to buy what your child needs over what crazy new toy they want. So if we can help those parents buy some of those necessities, So if they want to go out and buy a toy, they can do that, and they can have that joyful experience, knowing that the kids' needs are taken care of first, because that is important. Some people might be like, well, I'll never get my kids clothes for Christmas. That's a privilege. Having the privilege of not having to buy necessities, not having to determine how you're going to split your money up, that's a privilege. So being able to help those families and ease some of that burden is really important, and something I look forward to doing and helping the children understand. Again, it's not about the presents at Christmas time. So the last thing that would bring me joy during Christmas season is pretty simple. It's just spending time together. Again, I said we don't do a lot of things or activities outside the house, but we do make intentional time in our house for each other. For example, we just recently played Christmas Pictionary, and that was a lot of fun. We've done Lego building every year, so you get, for like 25 days of Christmas, you get a Lego card every year, or Lego instructions. So day 1, build reindeer. Day 2, build a wreath. And whoever does, and we all gather around and we make different things, and it's fun. And do they look completely different? Absolutely. And there are some better at it than others, but it's just fun. Christmasopoly is a fun game, so just having intentional time together. So for example, watching Christmas movies, that is something that we all really enjoy. We all have our favorites. If you're curious, my favorite Christmas movie is the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I am very much Clark Griswold, Chevy Chase's character in that movie, that he embodies so much for Christmas of family time and tradition, but everything goes wrong, and that can definitely seem like the holiday season. So if you're not familiar with that movie, highly recommend it. But we all have our favorites, and we all watch it, and it helps bring out that Christmas spirit that we all enjoy. Because ultimately it's about spending time with one another, loving each other. And that's the most joyful thing about this season. So I would love for you to share in the comments below something that brings you joy during this holiday season. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you for watching.